This podcast is intended for listeners over the age of 19 in Ontario, and we ask that you respect your local laws regarding cannabis.
Be sure to like, download, follow, subscribe, and of course, share with all of your friends.
That's right. Hi, ladies.
Hi, ladies.
Hi, Annie.
Hi, Amanda.
How you doing?
I'm great.
Right?
Yeah.
I know. I'm like still high from last week.
Oh, I know. This conversation was just amazing.
Right? It was so long that we couldn't even put it into one episode because, we like to keep those shorter episodes.
Yep.
So I guess here we go.
This is part 2 of our Tommy Chong conversation, getting to know Tommy Chong a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
Enjoy.
Did your kids know about your cannabis use, or like how did you manage that? Sort of the overlapping?
They knew. They knew from the beginning. You know what I learned is that if Dad likes it, then chances are Mom's not going to like it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And no one else is going to like it. And so I never tried to enforce that on anybody. I would just keep that cannabis use to myself and, sneak around and not, I never got evangelical with cannabis. Even it's hard for me to do it now. Because people ask me, what should I do to, I don't know, find out.
Go smoke some and find out.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, my kids, my daughters, my older daughters, they used to, Dad, can I have you got some joints? And I said, sure. They're, I don't know, 14, 15, something like that. And so, can I have some? Yeah, okay. I give it to her. And then next week, Dad, you got any more of those joints? Yeah. They were selling them at school.
Oh, that's so good.
Oh, I
know. Not even for their own supply.
All kids are the same, no matter how famous your father is.
Right?
Yeah.
How can we sell
Hey, do you want some Tommy Chong? Dope?
That's so...
What's that group? Was Flea the bass player?
See, they say, Matt's going to have to jump in here. I can see them.
Anyway, they went to school with that whole band. And my daughters were because of who I was. But Ray Dawn, she ended up in the movies before I did, and so she was more famous in the movie industry than we were until we made Up and Smoke. But no, I let the kids, whatever you want to do, do it, because that's what I found out is that. Explore everything, religion, guys, girls, whatever you want to do, just go for it. It's your life, live it how you want to live it. But there's nothing. The only thing I try to do, and I try to do it with Up in Smoke, the movie, was to be a good role model.
Yes.
So when we made Up in Smoke, that's why everything was so funny. It was just guys trying to play music.
Yes.
That's all it was. And then picking up, the hitchhikers and then get involved with the different, drug choices and everything else. But in the end, showing how silly it was for the cops to be doing what they were doing.
Yes.
By getting the cops stoned and all that. So I always had an eye on our audience, because the thing that made Cheech and Chong so popular was the fact that kids loved us. We did kid humor.
Yes.
From kindergarten all the way up. They would get our records, and it would be the most craziest, exciting thing they had. Listening to Cheech and Chong say the F word or do fart jokes.
Mm-hmm.
and just so I always had this feeling, because I think of what it was with me is that I really registered every year of my life that I can remember was meaningful because I was alone, and so I was learning all these feelings, and then when I really feel that my whole being is ordained, I'm here for a reason. And that's why even today, I'm 84, and I don't feel 84. I feel like I'm still in my 30s, or whatever. Just bigger,
Well, you certainly move like a young man, and you seem to enjoy yourself and like a young man. And, age is just a number. I meet people in their 30s where I'm like, man, you're fucking old. Mm-hmm. And then you meet
people like yourself who you're like,
and Shelby. Who,
you're like, there's no way.
There's absolutely no way. Just going back a bit there, it really sounds like your children inherited your entrepreneurial spirit. Mm-hmm. Asking you for joints to go sell at school. And understanding that there's a market there. So let me ask you this, Tommy. When did your kids make the connection that Dad is sort of the Tommy Chong? And sort of this cultural...
When did the kids?
Yeah, when did the kids realize that their father, Dad, it's just my dad.
Almost out of the gate. Okay. Almost out of the gate. Because we're the older son, Paris. He was always when we moved to Canada. We thought we were getting when the gas prices went crazy, and Reagan got in, and and he was on the war on drugs, and so we said, "Oh, this is a good time to move to Canada." Yeah, and so. When we bought our house in Canada, we told Paris, I forget how old he was, it wasn't that old, 7, 8 or something like that. We said, you don't tell your friends, who your dad is, And so the morning that after we moved in, there's a huge crowd of kids outside the door. And so we go out there, and Paris is selling all my comedy albums for a buck a piece.
Oh, I'm becoming instantly popular.
A buck a piece, and we told him, and his, what his answer was? I didn't tell him you were Chong. I told him you were Cheech.
Oh, that's hilarious.
And he just happens to have the last name Chong.
Oh, right?
It's just
Who
random.
knew? Who would have thought?
Oh, I do like that.
Yeah.
Right? No,
that's my partner. That's my son now. Oh, he's funny. He's got me. He blackballed me. He got me kicked off Twitter. He kicked me off Twitter.
He kicked you off Twitter. Said enough's enough,
yeah,
Dad. You're too much.
Because I was getting in these stupid arguments with the Trumpies,
Oh yes.
And it was so beneath me, because they would, the trollers, they're doing it just to get attention.
Yep.
And I'd fall into their trap. And so my son, he said, "Okay, that's it, Dad."
That's right.
No more.
All worked up. And
you know what?
So
we all need somebody like that in our lives who are just like, you're going too far. We need to pull you back here.
You need a Twitter timeout.
Yeah, and he stands up to me. I'll yell at him. He'll yell right back at me. He's not the least bit intimidated, and he's bigger, and he's stronger, and he's more talented in so many ways. He's got so much talent, though. I don't know he doesn't know where to begin. And he married a Shelby kind of.
Oh. You speak so beautifully and kindly of your children. I just love that.
Yeah, I know. My heart is glowing.
How many grandchildren do you have, Tommy?
I got 6 grandchildren now and 2 great grandchildren. Wow! How about that?
Yeah, so many generations.
2 great grandchildren, Harper and Miles.
Wow,
that must be fun.
Oh well, I'm getting to the age. I'm really enjoying my status as a grandpa. Mm-hmm. You don't have to do any heavy lifting.
Nope.
My word is law.
Yeah.
You don't have to talk. Man, that's why I talk so much when I get interviewed, because when you become a grandpa, no one really listens to you anyway. There's a vacuum there, your words only go so far, and then they don't they don't reach the rest. No, I really enjoy my grandpa status, but and my youngest, the one in the family, little Kira. Oh, she's my son and his wife. She's from Indonesia, Rama, and she's a Muslim. And so, I'm learning a lot about Muslim, and I'm learning. I join in on the Ramadan fast.
Yes,
it makes so much sense.
Yes.
But their daughter Kira, she owns Grandpa. She calls me Papa.
Blinks her eyes at you, and you give her all the ice cream she wants.
Yeah, and then she goes up, and so I pick her up, and then she puts her head on my shoulder and snuggles. And because when she was a tiny little baby, she used to lay on my. I'm like a big comforter, I guess, and she went to sleep on me a few times, and so it's up, and then she manipulates me.
Yeah.
Then when she wants to go somewhere, she treats me like a horse, kicks her heels in when she wants me to go one way.
So much fun.
And you can't say no.
That's right.
Oh, you can't say no. But everybody knows, that I'm not as agile and strong as I used to be. So the threat, and I tell old people too, man, use that threat. Don't be carrying shit around.
That's right.
You get feeble. Look, and because the young ones can do all that shit.
That's right.
Hey, you've done that.
Yeah, you put in the work, put in the hours.
You're a great grandpa. You don't have to lift that shit.
That's right.
But when your granddaughter blinks her eyes at you, it's hard to say no.
That's right.
Oh yeah. Oh, you don't say no to her. And all the grandkids, I love them all. You love them all, and you can't give them all the kind of attention you used to do. So they have to learn. When they're young and cuddly, they get attention. When they old and smelly, then they're off on their own.
Oh yeah, it was the same as even a parent. My son is just about to turn 11, and about 6 months ago, I had to say, no more wrestling because you're beating me up. You're as big as me now. Yeah. We can't do this anymore. I'm not tough enough. You have surpassed your mother. Go take the garbage out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, Canadians especially. Any country that has hockey as their national sport, you can raise some pretty some brutes in the house.
Yeah, that's right. We're polite as anything, but we can throw down those gloves. That's how we do it up here.
Yeah, no, I love the Canadian way. My mother, she only spanked me one time. Well, she was in the hospital for the most of earlier part,
years, yeah.
And then when she got out, she was kind of skinny, and they took a lung out of her, for TB, and so she only had one lung for the remainder of her life. But she was tough as nails, as feeble as she was. When my brother and I get into some kind of a wrestling match, where it got out of control, my mother would take a broom handle and start beating us both. And she's saying, "You guys stop it! You're going to hurt somebody." In the meantime, she's cracking us with this broom handle.
Yep.
Well, she doesn't want to hurt her hand. My mom used to use a wooden spoon, and it would always inevitably a wooden spoon. From the kitchen, just grab that wooden spoon. But one time it broke on my brother, and everybody ended up laughing, and so the discipline went out the window, and my mom was upset because her favorite spoon was broken.
Yeah, that's right. What else do you do but laugh?
It's also very Canadian.
It's also very Canadian.
Get the closest wooden thing and start hitting your kids with it.
Right? Well, now that we're on the topic of Canada, we've done some great strides in the cannabis space, Tommy, through legalizing coast to coast, right? Oh, you come up here all the time to visit.
Yeah. But as usual, the Canadian rules are a little suspect,
Right?
But I understand.
You have to start somewhere,
Canada.
right?
Yeah. Yeah, we may have
Well,
sold it.
any country that uses their commissionaires, their old retired war vets, as security, you got to go. Oh, okay.
I know what you're saying.
Remember, one commissionaire could police 1,000 skaters on a rink.
Mm-hmm.
You know, oh, no running, stop. Yeah. No, Canada. Remember, they were the Northwest Mounted Police. They only had one cop per province.
Oh, way back in the day.
Yeah.
And
and Canada's got the best Ukrainian history.
Oh yeah.
All my relatives, all my mother's sisters and cousins, they all married Ukrainians.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And we got a huge, my dad's best friend, my uncle, he married a Ukrainian lady.
Yeah.
Oh my God! So many Ukrainian.
And
my best friend, my best friend growing up, Alan. When we moved into the city, he's Ukrainian parents. Oh, and you talk about humor. Oh my God, we laughed so. I always had a comedy partner, and Alan Whitney was my comedy partner from the age of 11 to, I guess. Probably, to 16, to age 16. He was my Cheech.
The original Cheech.
Yeah,
your Ukrainian friend. That's so sweet. You've been practicing your bit since you were 8 years old, and you picked up that guitar, and then you have always found a way to be on stage in one capacity or the other. It seems.
That's the way it was.
Yeah.
We were performing, laughing with each other over the things, and I didn't know that he was a homosexual.
Back in the day, right? Like that would have been a dangerous thing to share with friends and family, right?
Totally.
Yeah, it's not
totally.
Like it is.
Well, I don't think he admitted it either.
He probably didn't know what it was until a certain point.
Well, that's true.
We didn't language around it.
That's right.
Well, I'm quite sure he knew. But he knew enough to keep the facade. You know, he even got married.
Mm-hmm.
He even got married, had kids.
Yep.
And it wasn't a happy marriage, I guess, because we never. The only thing he did that really kind of amazed me in a way, he opted out of life. The working part. Like he was kind of spoiled all his life, and then he reached a point where he had to make a choice as to what profession he was going to get into.
Yeah.
Well, rather than go into a profession, he found a way to get a motor home and park it near Oselius, British Columbia, and then get some, like a steady income coming from somewhere. And he never worked really after that. Never worked a day. And then I think he moved down to. We lost touch. I think he moved down to Panama. And then I think he spent the rest of his life down there with a friend, the friend. But when we were kids, the sexual experiment kind of went into the gay mode at the time. I had no idea. Kids, you don't know. Yeah. And Calgary, man, there are so many. The YMCA in Calgary was notorious. When we learned to swim in Calgary, the instructors would make us all take off our bathing suits.
Yeah, that's what happens when you put it, behind closed doors.
That's right.
8, 9, 10.
It was such a different time.
Yeah, it was back in the early 50s, and we're all standing there with our little wieners hanging out.
No idea. Exactly.
And it felt nice, but it was kind of weird, But when you're a kid, you don't know any different.
That's right.
You don't know the difference. This is the way it's done, and this is the way you did it. Yeah. No, oh man.
You sure have seen the world change.
Yeah.
Like you've seen a real shift in.
Oh my God! Well, figure it out. I went through how many wars now? I lost count of them now. But I was born, probably my other life was probably something to do with the war. Because 38, all of a sudden I appear and we're in the middle of the Second World War, or the beginning of it, and then here I am, 84, and we're in Ukraine and still going at it,
Yes, there's always going to be a war somewhere in the world.
Yeah, there is.
Back to that,
and we have to. What we do, we have to learn from it. See what I learned, with my spiritual training and when people ask me about going to jail, a lot of people look at it like it was a real, down part of my life. It was the opposite. I was so excited when I finally
heard that. Somebody say, "Oh, it was a great time."
I think I've heard you describe it as your religious getaway.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. It was. But before I went to jail, I tried everything to stay out of jail. In fact, I was ready to make a fool of myself, because I wrote a letter. I thought, because it got down, I was in denial. I thought, are they going to put me in jail for a bomb? Right. Come on. That's not going to happen.
Over the internet, was that correct?
Yeah. No, it wasn't the internet at all. No. It was a paraphernalia law that Joe Biden wrote that said that if you just for selling or giving or transporting paraphernalia, that means pipes or any cigarette papers. Right. They put people selling cigarette papers out of business because they're and he got house arrest, and I was hoping for house arrest,
Yeah.
And then when it looked like I was going to go to jail, I started trying to cop a plea or do something, And then my lawyer, at the time, he says, save it. Yeah. And then when I got sentenced, I was still going to fight it, but then I'm surrounded where I live by lawyers, and there was another lawyer across the way, and he took me for dinner, and he gave me the best advice ever, because, you can't fight the government, So he said, just do your time and then make the best of it, And so I did, and then I because the spotlight's on me, and as long as the spotlight's on me, then I can function, then I can say, okay. Yeah, I had fun, man. We ended up, there's another golf caddy named Eric Larson, and he was in jail unjustly too. He got railroaded for just being a coke user and a golf caddy with famous people. And so he pleaded, he fought the case, and then when you fight it, they double the sentence, and he got like 14 years for being a coke user. It was stupid.
Well, actually, I'm pretty proud of British Columbia right now. I don't know if Paris has told you, because he's out there, but we've just decriminalized out in British Columbia. Out in British Columbia, all hard narcotics, so cocaine, crack, fentanyl, and a whole slew of other ones. So if you're caught in possession of it, you don't get charged anymore.
Or end up 14.
Incredible.
Yeah. 14 years.
Incredible.
Right? So, I know it's a small step, but, at least we're headed in a direction where some of this unjustice...
small step. That's an incredible step.
That's an incredible...
That was the problem, and that was their big problem, is that you're criminalizing this stuff, and then you create criminals.
That's right.
You put them in jail, and they end up learning how to
do real crimes.
Yeah, and you push things into the dark corners. Dark things happen in dark corners. So if you can bring it out into the light, you also have the ability to help people help themselves.
That's right.
Which is, jail. We could do a whole thing.
But
it sounds like you had a fabulous time in jail, and I think that's wonderful. A little 9-month vacation,
right?
Slow down the pace.
Yeah.
But
do some reading.
Even though it sounds like it, was, a cushy vacation in jail, as weird as that sounds, did that affect your family or your family dynamic at all? Because, you were physically away from them.
It did in a very positive way.
Oh.
Because as my wife Shelby was just devastated. She's crying her eyes out, and on the way because she's alone, And so I told her, I knew what a great businesswoman she was. That's why we ended up together, because she helped me with the nightclubs when she was like 16, 17 years old.
Wow.
She's given me advice. She was the one that made the club successful. She told me who to hire and what to do, and keep doing what you're doing, all that stuff. I mean, she helped me make all the moves. And then, so when I went to jail, I told her, I said, well, honey, why don't you take, we bought some property in Canada, and I said, why don't you parlay that into what you can, And she says, oh, okay. She went up there and she bought 2 30-unit apartment buildings, one incredible house in a beautiful area where she tore it down and rebuilt it and resold it for $1 zillion. She made more money when I was in jail than I made the whole time I was out.
Oh my God. You're holding her back. Right? Tommy, you're holding her back.
It was crazy. And what's so funny is when I got in jail, she was so excited to show me the property, But I couldn't hang out at the property because it's rented. I mean, you own it, but it's rented. So you're not allowed.
Right.
It was funny. I ended up, my only job for the apartments was because I was a sweeper in prison. I cleaned up the garbage area.
How can I help you,
I'd have people,
go clean the garbage, Tommy.
Right?
Yeah. I'd have people come by and look at me. Aren't you? And I said, no, I'm just a janitor.
Doppelganger.
Never heard of him. Tommy who?
No, the family, again, she, and we found out she just found out recently that she's a really fine artist. She can do portraits and she has that talent. And the reason she has the talent is she never stopped going to school from the time I met her. When Cheech and I were doing movies, Up in Smoke, she was going to UCLA, taking French. She would go to UCLA or whatever, and whatever classes were available, she'd sign up, and then she's taken art, and she's always improving herself.
A lifelong learner.
And fashion. She's a seamstress. She makes her own clothes. And I mean, she is, and she's so gorgeous. It pisses all her friends off.
She is.
Her friends actually tell her. Her friends actually tell her not to wear the short skirts. It's her friends. They say, "Please don't wear short skirts."
Well, you've got a body like
and,
that.
And then it's a big panic. Yeah, it's a big panic. If you're going out with Tommy and Shelby, the girls go, "Oh my God, what am I going to wear? Oh, we're going out with Shelby." Oh, and they freak out because she's a phenomenal.
Oh yeah,
she's incredible. I'm looking at paintings now. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 paintings that I pulled out of the garbage can. They were like small canvases, and they're landscapes, and they're exercises. And so I go to put the garbage out one day, and they're all in the garbage can. I pulled them out like, what? And then she says, they're garbage. She wanted to argue about it. And you're going to lose this argument, girl.
Yeah.
And so I got them hanging out on my wall.
One man's garbage is another man's treasure.
That's it.
And
hey, any man's garbage is Tommy Chong's treasure.
He's out there rubbling through the garbage cans.
Tommy, what?
Oh, I'm notorious for it. In fact, my family won't let me go to thrift stores. I love thrift stores.
Well, you
I
spent the
will
whole
always buy
budget on that
something.
Uber.
That's right. Your whole week's allowance on that Uber.
No, don't bring that up. You bring it.
Now, Tommy, we would love to have Shelby's perspective as your,
I
she's your
know.
partner and your rock. One day we'll have to call and get
I
Shelby.
know. Oh, you got to call. Well, let me give you her phone number. Okay.
I think you threw my pen. Oh, there we go.
We will have to edit this part out. Sure. Oh, fabulous.
That's Shelby Chong, and really call her anytime. Tell her who you are, because I already told her, but she's already, she had a shitload of other bookings to do.
Yeah, I know. She's a busy lady. I mean, you guys are both crazy.
Even just
she says, I got to go to my Pilates.
Hey, you got.
And she just came from her ballet.
Well,
and then I think tomorrow she's going to be doing. She's going to be doing probably ballroom, but she can't do tango because her tango teacher left. And she is amazing.
Well, you are both, amazing people, and I think it says something. Shelby is always learning. You are always challenging yourself. She's out there Pilating, dancing.
And it sounds like you challenge each other. Like you guys are a perfect wits match for each other.
You keep the body moving, you keep the brain muscle going, and then you end up the libido moving, and then you end up the youngest people that you can be, and that is your vibe.
But I gotta give you another hint for the ladies.
Oh,
what she does with me.
Ooh.
She's very sweet with everybody, but every once in a while, these eligible bachelors show up.
yeah.
Yeah, and for some reason she has a little bit of she makes a little bit of more of an effort around these guys, and so there's quite a bit of jealousy, and it didn't start overnight. Here's the thing: when we were just friends, she would show up at the club, and she'd be dancing in front of me, with a guy. And if she got too drunk, she'd end up making out with the guy, And I'm married, and she's just a friend, but I would get so jealous that she picked up on it right away. In fact, she knew from the get-go. I'm quite sure she did. And that goes on today. Because sometimes when we're going out to dinner, I'll look, oh, she's wearing that. Oh, I wonder if Ron's going to be there tonight. Oh, guess what? Ron did come tonight.
Tommy Chong has a jealous streak.
Isn't that sweet? Isn't that something?
It's the sweetest thing in the world.
It is sweet, and she does know her power, and she's just giving you a little reminder.
Hey, you check yourself.
Yeah, you get to come home with this, buddy.
Right?
Yes. Now she is. She's a control freak. She only does certain things. She nibbles. It looks like a little rat was in the kitchen. There'll be little remnants of she never eats anything whole, like a half a cookie, half a croissant, or she never gobbles anything down. She'll take a kombucha and I'll pick it up, and it's still kombucha in the can. Yeah. So I'll put it back in the refrigerator. Like she does half of everything, and then no, she's got these. I don't know what it is. She is. There's something so special about her. And then every once in a while, I'll do something that will make her jealous. And especially when I get my fame,
Yeah.
Nothing worse than a girl coming up to, oh my God, it's you, oh my God. And then I'll hand the phone to Shelby, say, will you take a picture of us, please?
Oh, yeah. That would be infuriating.
That's when she switches the camera around and they just get a picture of her eyeball.
Yes.
Yeah, that one, every once in a while, that one gets to her, So I try to keep that one from happening too many times. But no. And you know what really solidified our relationship? When Cheech left me, I went on the road by myself.
Yep.
And I was not happy because when Cheech and I were together, we always had each other.
Mm-hmm.
But when alone, you're alone, and nothing worse than being a lonely comic, because now you're at the pleasure of the promoter or some idiot that you don't want to deal with or have anything to do with, and there's no one to rejoice or have a meal with or nothing. Yeah. And so I said, I'm going to Guam, and I said, hey, listen, why don't you come with me? And she goes, no, I don't want to just sit in the dressing room. I said the magic words, why don't I put you in the show? And she had been taking acting lessons at the time, and she brightened up. She goes, okay, I'll come. I put her in the show, and within a month, she is getting the same kind of accolades I'm getting.
Oh, wow.
Within a month.
Then you fired her because you can't have her outshining you.
I tried to. I used that threat one time, and it worked. Oh my God, I'd never use it again. But yeah, and no, because she just loved being a comedian. She loved being in the spotlight. She deserves to be in the spotlight. And so when Cheech and I got back together again, I was up on the roof suntanning, and next thing you know, she's standing over me, and very threatening. She goes, "You're not dumping me just because of Cheech. You and Cheech are back together again." And I said, no, darling, we're definitely not.
Correct answer. That was the correct answer.
That's when my son Paris, because he was the manager.
Yeah.
And so Paris, he wrote. He's a good writer too. He wrote Shelby into the show, and with my help, but and Shelby, and then it was up to Cheech. Is Cheech going to be okay with this? Well, Cheech loves he loved having Shelby in there, and so that's the way it's been. And so when the pandemic hit, now Cheech and I had some offers, but we're not going to do it. Shelby is definitely part of the show, but she really is beyond, being a partner. She deserves to have her own show, and that's what we're kind of working on now. We did a pilot for a cooking show where she shows people how to cook with marijuana.
I watched that. Yeah.
Yeah, and so this coming out soon. We there's a nice future.
Oh, I'm so excited to see what's coming down the pipeline in the Chong house.
Some amazingly big things going public. You guys are new things all over the place, and that is so absolutely exciting for the both of you. Keep conquering mountains. I love it. And again, like in this conversation, what do we keep coming back to?
Family. You're 100% a family man. Mm-hmm. Like forget all the other.
Oh, I can't hear you. What happened?
Oh, we were just saying that everything that we've been talking about comes back to you being a family man.
Yeah.
Like that's where it started.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. The family. That's all you got. That's your wealth.
Yeah.
That's always been, that's always been what the prophets and the good people,
Yeah.
For
that's
sure.
what they say, it's all about family.
Yeah. Tommy, I've always felt like you and I have had like similar values.
When I got the nightclub in Vancouver, it was my brother that really took over and managed it. And then my mother, it was my mother's first job literally in her life, working in the nightclub, and she would do the coat check. And people loved her so much that she would make more money in tips than most of the waiters.
Oh. So always keeping it in the family.
That's it.
You're still practicing that you work as a family, you play as a family.
That's it.
I am personally so excited to be able to share this side of you with our listeners.
That's right.
Great.
Tommy, would we be able to ask you, we would love to sign off this episode with you saying goodbye. This is Tommy Chong saying, stay high, ladies.
Stay high?
Yeah, stay high, ladies.
Oh, stay high, ladies. Okay, are you ready?
Yeah, we're ready for you.
Okay. Hey, this is Tommy Chong, and I just want to say, stay high, ladies.
Bam! That was good.
That's so good.
Oh, Tommy, I'm in love with you, and I want to hug you.
I know, right? The next time you're in Canada, we need to, get together and smoke a joint.
Oh, for sure. I'd love to. No, we'll have to go up for a drink or coffee anyway.
At the very least.
Oh, thank you.
And sit around in Toronto, especially.
Yeah.
And go find a nice little outdoor cafe if it's nice out, and get recognized.
You name the place, we will be there.
We will be there, Tommy. And thank you so much for helping us with and providing us with Shelby's information, because we definitely would love to hear from her as well. So
yeah, for sure.
Definitely, you got to treat her like the star she is.
Oh, we definitely.
You know what I mean?
Yes,
oh yeah.
Yes. Well, she is,
because that's really then you'll get gold, because she's amazing. She's amazing, and and maybe she'll share some of her secrets. I mean, I kind of touched on them, but I mean, as gorgeous as she is, she works at it. Mm-hmm. She works at being gorgeous, and she knows that like her body is 90% of her. Mm-hmm. And so that's why she's at the Pilates and the ballet and everything else. But it's not for anybody else.
Yeah,
it's for her.
It's for her.
It makes her feel good.
Oh, such a female empowerment message right there.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Oh.
She knows her self-worth, and she's willing to put that work into it.
That's
and
right.
So many women don't.
Right.
We give ourselves over to the other things in our lives, and the thing that falls off the wayside is
our own health and mental health.
And if she's keeping herself strong and beautiful and keeping that brain muscle going, I mean, that's so exciting. So thank you, Tommy. We will let you know when this episode comes out. I come from a whole family of artists, and my cousin, who is a fine artist, is actually doing the show art, and he's doing some drawings of you for the show art. So once we have all that done, I'll make sure to send them along to you as well.
Oh, I'd love that. Well, thank you very much, ladies. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you so much, Tommy.
Thank you.
Bye.
Have a good afternoon. Bye. Holy camole.
Right?
That was just exhilarating.
I don't know. I don't know.
Speechless. But there is something we do have to say. We have to thank Tommy Chong so much from the bottom of our hearts for taking time to share a more intimate side of Tommy Chong that I think often gets overlooked. What a kind, wonderful person. And we look forward to more chats, maybe with Shelby next season with his beautiful wife. But thank you again, and thank you, listeners, for coming on this ride with us.
That's right.
But now it's time for us to step away.
Take a toe.
And go be moms. If you've enjoyed today's episode, yes, you have, you can find all of our episodes wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. Please don't forget to rate, comment, subscribe, and of course, tell all of your friends.
Mm-hmm. They'll want to hear this one too.
You can send us an email at
highladiespodcast@gmail.com,
or you can find us on Instagram
at highladiespodcast.
For sure.
Bye, ladies.
Bye, dear Tommy.
Bye, Tommy.
We love you.
Stay high.